Every year, more than 50,000 deserving entrepreneurs and executives attempt to sell a company they've worked tirelessly to build. Yet more than 70% of them fail. Why? Because most deals are derailed by hidden dangers that leave both buyers and sellers blindsided. The book, Broken Handoff, Saving Your Assets, available on Amazon, will tell you what you need to do and what not to do in an M&A. It's a breathtaking book with rare and remarkable, transparent insights into owning, buying, and selling a business. Broken Handoff exposes the unexpected pitfalls and reveals hands-on solutions for the mergers and acquisitions process, and delivers tools to beat the odds and broker the deal you want. This is a definitive guide to business ownership transactions and required reading for founders, CEOs, venture capitalists, mentors, and moguls. Broken Handoff, Saving Your Assets, available on Amazon in Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure that you subscribe and follow us on whatever platform you are listening to us on. And man, do we have a lot to talk about. You got to do the disclaimer because, we got a lot of things going on here involving the Ukraine-Russian war, the Russian-Ukraine war, whatever it's being called. So we always got to do this disclaimer because they call you all kinds of things. We are opposed to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We believe that Vladimir Putin has broken international law and is a war criminal for invading Ukraine, all right? And he should pull out immediately and pay for the rebuilding of Ukraine. I want to get that out of the way, and I mean that, but you got to do this disclaimer because what the mainstream media have done and what the liberals have done is say that anyone who is against U.S. involvement in the war between Russia and Ukraine, you're a Putin puppet spreading Russian propaganda.
Well, isn't Biden against U.S. involvement? He's not getting involved.
He hasn't said. Well, that very well may be. They haven't thought that one out. But we have a lot to talk about, including the coven over there on The View. But I first wanted to play this clip because this is the second person on Fox News in 2 days who says that the war is over, that Ukraine has lost. The first was Bartiromo over the weekend from Fox Business, and then Steve Harrigan, who just got back from Ukraine. He'd been over there reporting from Ukraine for the past 2 weeks. He's back in America, and he was in studio today on Fox News giving his assessment of the situation in Ukraine. Now, remember, he's been there. He was there the last couple of weeks through all of everything that's happening. So, he's got a perspective that some talking head who Skyped in from their kitchen doesn't have. Okay, so this is Steve Harrigan of Fox News, just back from Ukraine, today in the studio here in the United States. I don't know if he was in D.C. or New York, but he was back here in the United States.
I think Putin is being bled, and he will be bled for years, and it will take years. Maybe the oligarchs who aren't making as much money will hurt. Maybe the Russian people will rise up. I think, for me, Ukraine is a done deal. It's flattened, and they lost.
Okay, now, before we get to the rest of it, so he said Ukraine has lost. It's over. And so now he's also saying that Putin's very damaged by this. He's turned public opinion against him.
I don't think there are any winners in this.
No,
I don't think there's any winners at all. I don't think Putin's going to win.
No.
And clearly, I never thought Ukraine would be able to defeat him. And I just don't think he will. His people have turned against him. The Ukrainian people don't want him. And this has cost him a lot of money. And he's going to have to rebuild a lot and win back the hearts of the people. This could be his Waterloo.
It's cost him a lot at home, too. So Steve Harrigan
around the world
just said that as bad as it's gone for Russia, Russia has won, that Ukraine, it's over. And he goes on here, listen.
But the next story, I think, is Russia. The Russian people are going to rise up and throw this guy out.
Do you foresee a coup? I mean, I know that that's something that, people sort of wished in the early onsets of this, but is it too late?
you know what? I think this is a long-term tragedy. We're watching people get slaughtered, and we're going to watch it for years to come.
Okay. Now, this idea of overthrowing Putin, I know that sounds like a great idea to everyone, but who's going to replace Putin? I mean, it's so bizarre how no one, including this person talking to Steve Harrigan, have any idea who would replace Putin.
Well, whenever there's a country that's overthrown, you have Cuba. You have where else
Afghanistan was just overthrown. The Taliban took over.
Right. I mean, has it ever turned out well?
Only in the United States when we overthrew the Redcoats.
I mean, when they but when they overthrew in France, didn't Napoleon take over after that?
When they overthrew, they had the Reign of Terror for 10 years.
Okay,
and that's when all the guillotine and everything was.
That's right.
So
it never works out well.
Typically,
except for us,
when a government is overthrown or replaced, typically bad things happen. And it's,
it could be worse.
Yeah. When Gorbachev fell, when the Soviet Union fell, Yeltsin was there and was kind of leading it. So there was kind of we kind of knew what was happening. Don't be so sure that whoever replaces Putin is going to be better. They could be much, maybe they'll be better. But I think before reporters and government people start talking about overthrowing Putin, they should wonder who would replace him. That to me seems to be, it could be much worse. And there's
Putin replaced Yeltsin, right? When he
a long time ago,
kicked out or whatever. I don't know the whole story with that.
It's very complex.
Putin took over. He put him in his place, and then he ended up being
exactly. So I think they need to, before they encourage an overthrow of Putin, they need to start thinking, well, who's going to be there in his place, and will they be better? Will they be worse? Will it be the same?
The sad thing is the people, I don't think, wanted this. This is all, as typical, the leaders that are making these things happen, and the people suffer. I think they were just happy to just go along with their lives and wanted to live in peace like most people do. And none of them asked for this, but it's been thrust upon them. And, because of pride and ego or in greed. And now the people, Putin could be deposed or whatever. They will suffer the consequences of his actions for decades to come.
Well, the question,
unfortunate.
With Steve Harrigan, what they didn't get into with Steve Harrigan, because they're not being too deep over there on Fox News about all this stuff, but they've had two of their most credible people, Steve Harrigan, who was just back, and Maria Bartiromo, both say that it's over. Maria Bartiromo said her sources in the government say it's over, and Steve Harrigan just got back. He said it's over, and that's probably why he got out. He left because it's going to be chaotic if there's a collapse.
I would assume her sources in the government, Trump is one of her sources.
Yeah. Now, what that means, I don't know. Does that mean that Russia's going to take over all of Ukraine? Does it mean that Russia's going to occupy a big chunk of Ukraine, and then Zelensky is going to have like a pocket that he still is running some rebel thing against?
I don't think there's a future for Zelensky.
We don't know, but I'll tell you this. This is what I think, okay? The Congress, they just passed this like multi-billion-dollar relief package that has all their Democrat earmarks attached to it. I'm starting to think it's very credible to say that the United States and other countries are keeping this war going long enough for the checks to clear for this spending package of relief, because they all want their money. The Ukrainians want it. The Democrats want this. Biden wants it. So I think it's being prolonged to get the money, which means people are dying for this. Yeah. So that's what's going on.
They don't care.
And it also explains why those MiGs were not handed over to Ukraine from Poland, because they've determined it's over and it would be a waste. And remember, what Poland was offering, they were offering to give Ukraine their entire Air Force, all of their fighter jets, and the United States was going to replace them. Isn't that nice? And we're just going to replace. Oh yeah, give your whole Air Force away. We'll replace it. That's lovely. But a good deal for Poland, a good deal for Ukraine, and a good deal for the donors.
I mean, we're just arming everybody.
Yeah, exactly, with our money.
God.
But they never gave those MiGs. At least they haven't as of yet given those MiGs to Ukraine. Probably because it's a waste of time, because everyone knows the war's over, and it's only being kept going for this spending package the Democrats need to get passed through the Senate and Biden to sign it
Well, it's a great way for Poland to get all new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great deal for Poland. They these MiGs are early 1980s. In fact, I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh! These are that a Top Gun.
Those are the same. Those are the MiG eras from the era of Top Gun. I'm saying the original Top Gun, not the new one that hasn't come out yet. Yeah, and they're going to get a whole new Air Force.
Well, maybe they can fly inverted like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, maybe.
And go upside down.
I love what Biden's doing. He's going to give a whole new Air Force to Poland, a free Air Force to Ukraine. He just gave an Air Force of Black Hawk helicopters to the Taliban in Afghanistan. He's just handing out all Air Forces. He's giving away Air Forces. This guy.
There's a story there,
and we're supposed to suffer with high gas prices and inflation because it's the right thing to do.
But it's all Putin's fault.
Give us free gas instead of giving them free Air Forces. How about that?
Well, I know in Florida, DeSantis, who's the best governor ever, is contemplating eliminating the gas tax, which you said is 18 cents a gallon?
About a quarter.
A quarter, which is good. He said that there's a $15 billion surplus in Florida because we've had so many people move here, and that translates into property taxes, tolls, people building businesses, using restaurants, sales tax. The more people you have living in your state, the more revenue your state's going to make.
And tourists pay taxes with hotel taxes and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. The more tourism and everything. So they're thinking about eliminating the gas tax to give a break to people, which I think is a fantastic idea.
The state gas tax, the federal government has a tax on there too. So it would bring the price of gas down 25 cents in Florida.
That's a pretty big chunk.
I'd go fill up right now if it dropped 25 cents.
Yeah, everybody would.
I have a car and Kathy has a car and our daughter has a car. My car is almost on E.
Yeah.
Our daughter's car is almost on E. And gas is so high. Today I'm going to go and fill up our daughter's car for her.
I told you better today because it'll go up another 20 cents tomorrow.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're waiting for.
And I am so nervous about going to the gas station and filling up my car and our daughter's car. I don't even know how much that's going to be. The last week, I've just been putting in like a quarter of a tank of gas in my car at a time. You do better if you fill it up because
you do.
And I know some people are going to let me know that's not true. It's true. This is true. I know somebody will always say that there's always know-it-alls out there.
I think you do better that way too.
If you do not fill up your tank, gas inside there does evaporate, and if you have your tank full, it evaporates less, so you do get more gas. And I know fumes, but it may not be a lot evaporating. But at these prices, I feel like Road Warrior with the little pan trying to get some drops of gas off the highway.
Just go out and buy a Tesla already.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, golly, just drop $50K. What the hell's wrong with you?
One thing though, if Ron DeSantis, the greatest governor ever, if he does, he just can't suspend the gas tax. Apparently, it has to go through the legislature. This is an election year. I hope they do it and they do it quick because
I think they will.
They're talking about doing the legislature. You got to understand the Florida legislature are not Ron DeSantis. They're Republicans, but a lot of them are Republican establishment, and they're talking about a 1-day tax break. And all that's going to do is cause long lines at all the gas stations.
Yeah, that'll do nothing.
That would just be a panic.
No.
But if he suspends,
he could do it temporarily for like 3 months. Or
how much money did he say Florida has in surplus?
15 billion. But that's a lot. They're thinking all the money they're going to lose.
Okay, so the state of Florida has $15 billion with a B dollars in surplus. The government is not in the business of making money and making profit, and
they shouldn't be
building up savings accounts. So
I think
he should definitely suspend it.
I think it's good to have a surplus in your state because we do have natural disasters here that happen, and that money can go away quickly. I'd rather be in the black than in the red, but
I'd rather be in the black instead of the state. I'm not worried about the state.
But I think if you are in such a surplus, that surplus is going to keep being replenished by, like I said, sales taxes, hotel taxes. We have so many hotels in Florida. Are you kidding me? Florida right now is probably, I would say, has the most tourists out of anybody. Plus, we have the Canadians that come down, the snowbirds. So I think if the surplus keeps accumulating, I think that it's okay for them to give us a break for a while, say 6 months. But their thinking is, we're going to lose so much money.
Well, yeah, and
I mean, how many cars are on the road here?
I'm seeing a lot of New York license plates, okay, and a lot of New Yorkers and people are coming down here, and they are we are going to, this time next year and the year after, they are screwing us over so much. And let me tell you what I mean by this. Real estate is hotter in Florida than it's ever been.
Yeah.
There are not enough houses to sell. There are so many people moving here. Rents are also high. Houses are selling for much more than they're worth.
That's
and the house next door, I'm not going to give out the prices or anything, but the price next door to us just sold to a house flipper, a company that buys houses and then flips them for profit. The flippers paid over they paid over twice what the previous owner paid for the house, really 2.5 times. They paid I don't want to give out the numbers but
you can give a rough clip now.
No, I don't want to give people information.
Definitely more than it's worth.
They paid a lot more. The flippers have paid a lot more for the house than it's worth. A lot more.
Oh, yeah.
They've done some renovations. They have not listed it yet. I don't know what they're going to list it for. I mean, I can't believe they bought it for as much as they did, but that house is going to sell at a very inflated price. And there are some other houses in our development that are for sale. Not very many because they're for sale for like 2 days and they sell. And they're getting sold for very, very, very high numbers, far beyond what they're worth.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, well, why don't you sell your house? Well, because we could sell the house, but then we'd have to buy a new one at the inflated prices.
It only works if you move to a state where you can get a much cheaper house. Like you'd have to leave Florida or move to like northern Florida.
We'd have to move to New York where they have nobody wants to live.
Yeah, but if you want to live in the same area, there's no point.
But these people from these lockdown states that are moving to Florida, a lot of people act like it's a good thing. And this is a big problem for me. And I just realized this a few days ago with this house next door, and then there's another house in our development for sale. And our property taxes are going to go up a lot next year and the year after.
They already have a little bit.
Yeah, they've gone up a little bit already, but next year they're going to go up a lot. And what's going to happen is because your house gets assessed every year based on its value, and the houses are being assessed at these inflated values because of all these Democrats from these lockdown states. So like Whitmer and Cuomo and all these Democrat jerks that are forcing their people to leave are coming to Florida, and they're going to screw us by raising our property taxes.
Well, that's what Democrats do.
And, and at first it was like, okay, well, hopefully they're all Republicans. It sounds like a good thing. And now I'm like really nervous at the numbers that these houses, and I'll tell you another thing I'm also worried about, that the prices people are paying for the houses are so over market price, not just in our neighborhood, throughout the entire state.
Yeah, they are.
That I think we could be in another foreclosure crisis down the road. These people are paying.
It depends
way too
on
much money.
who they're giving loans to. When that happened before, remember they were giving subprime loans to people that should not have been given loans, and that was what caused that. But everything always reaches a point where it can't go any higher. But I see it as a good thing. I know the property taxes are going to go up, but at the same time, our home value is increasing. And also the economy is doing well in Florida, which is always a good thing. Like I said, more people are moving here. And I think DeSantis is the kind of guy who will pass on that to us either through help. I see more construction on roads, and I see Florida growing and everything like that. And if he can lower the gas tax or get rid of that for a while, that would be great. So I see it as a positive when the economy is doing so well. I know there's always a negative to everything, but our home value is worth more too. Not that we're moving, but
we're not selling it.
We're not. But I think it's a positive overall.
Now, Mother's Day is coming up. Kathy, can you tell? It's Mother's Day. You're a mother.
I'm a mother.
I know some people tell me I'm a mother of another kind sometimes,
true.
But I'm not that kind of mother. The other one depends on who you are. You may be debatable, but there are these great deals at mypillow.com for Mother's Day. Can you tell people a little bit about what some of your favorite, what your recommendations are for Mother's Day gifts from mypillow.com with our promo code Kane?
Well, I think a lot of our audience has elderly parents, and there's a lot of things on there they would really, really appreciate. I would go for the robe and slipper combo, and I wouldn't wait on that because they do run out of colors when it gets closer to like a big
sizes.
holiday. So I would do that if you haven't done that already. Another good choice are the towels, which are a really good price right now with the promo code $39.99. And let me tell you, they are the best towels ever. And that's a really good price because if you go on Amazon and stuff like that, they're going to be the same or more money and not as good. They're really, really high quality. And of course the pillows, but I think the robe and slipper combo for me for Mother's Day is a really great gift. And you can have them shipped right to your mom directly and just let her know there's something coming in the mail for you from My Pillow. And I'm telling you, it is so much better than flowers or candy or anything that's going to last a week. These are products that will last her a long, long, long time. They're very high quality. And every time she puts on that robe or those slippers, especially if she has issues with her feet and stuff, she will think of you and she'll be like, this was such a nice gift. Because moms, they remember what you get them. They
remember, mom includes your mom, your grandmother, your wife, and your daughter if she has kids. And when you go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code KANE, Kane, save up to 66% off. 66% off you can save as much as that on the products at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, Kane.
He's always adding new colors. I see here the sheets. They have some nice new pastels. Yep. They have some sheets that are plain, some with stripes. They have flannels. So they have a really good selection. And since we bought our robes, they have added a lot of different choices.
A lot of new
colors and thicker or thinner. So if your mom lives up north where it's cold, you want to get her the thicker robe. If she lives in Florida where we are, or Texas or Arizona, maybe the thinner robe where it's not so cold. But elderly people, if that's your mom, do get cold easily. So I would say the thicker robe.
That's right. So listen, whoever the mom is on your Mother's Day gift giving list, you will find something for her at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, Kane, at checkout. Save up to 66% off. But you've got to use the promo code KANE, Kane, at MyPillow.com.
If past trauma is holding you back in life, there is help, and you can move past your past to live a productive and happier life. Join LaToya Shea in her free 7-day seminar and enjoy life in the F lane. It's March 28th through April 3rd. Register now and enjoy this important series on healing. Overcome past trauma for good. Get over trauma from your childhood and kick heartache, trauma, and drama to the curb. Reclaim all that the past has stolen from you now. Sign up right away so you don't miss this important event. It's free. Visit spiritualcoach.latoyashay.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can join too. spiritualcoach.latoyashay.com and click free 7-day healing series. That's spiritualcoach.latoyashay.com. From author Lucas Kruger comes the book, The Ghost Ninja of Hong Kong Island, available on Amazon. Hong Kong should have been a fresh start for Brandon, a place to escape the war raging after the death of his father. But when Brandon witnesses a gang-related murder, a global crime boss employs the services of an evil Japanese assassin who possesses dark and paranormal talents. With a bloodthirsty assassin hot on his trail, a Chinese hit squad, and a corrupt police force, Brandon soon discovers his only ally is a boozy chain-smoking police inspector who harbors dark demons of his own. The duo are dragged into further chaos by a corrupt North Korean general and an unlawful arms trader involving millions of dollars worth of weapons, ammunition, and troops. The Ghost Ninja of Hong Kong Island is the debut novel from author Lucas Kruger. It's the first book in the Ghost Ninja of Hong Kong Island trilogy and has been described as a milestone for martial arts and action-adventure fiction, fusing the narratives of Kill Bill, The Karate Kid, and Die Hard into a cinematic thrill ride. Order your copy of The Ghost Ninja of Hong Kong Island from author Lucas Kruger. Available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions on Amazon. Have you wanted to learn how to make a living in real estate? Real estate can be intimidating, but with the right guidance, you can begin a successful real estate career. Shannon Rob Nett is a second-generation builder and developer, fourth-generation realtor with over 35 years experience in real estate. And on his podcast, Rob Nett's Real Estate Rundown, he shares his experience and knowledge with listeners. Listen to this clip from a recent episode.
And I've always been able to get people to help me bring that dream to life so that at the end of the day, what we're seeing happen is we're seeing a raw piece of land turn into a commercial investment that is of benefit to the whole community. And then out of that, we're able to create a significant upside for the investors in that development project. So after 12 or 14 months, those investors will receive, I don't want to brag, but over 35% return.
Shannon Robnett shares advice that's actionable on wholesaling, fix and flips, single family, multifamily, and more. Robnett's Real Estate Rundown is available on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, YouTube, Podchaser, and Spotify. Add Robnett's Real Estate Rundown to your playlist right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. All right, so over on The View today, they just have having a fit over both Tulsi Gabbard and Tucker Carlson, and I'm not going to go through my thing on Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is a very, very liberal Democrat pretending to be a conservative. She is a Trojan horse. I know she is saying some things that you may agree with, that she sounds MAGA or something. Do not trust Tulsi Gabbard, okay? But Tucker Carlson has been branded a Putin puppet spreading Russian propaganda. And as we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, if you're an anti-war person now, the left call you a traitor, a Putin puppet, and Russian propagandist. That's why I got to do the disclaimer that about this is an illegal invasion and Putin's wrong and it's evil, you know. But that doesn't mean there's a lot of evil in the world. It doesn't mean we go to World War III over it.
Right.
And there has been not one single bit of effort by the government of the United States to cool things off over there by having a summit meeting, which I've been calling for, with and the person I think should do it. And people give me a hard time about this. I'm talking about Biden. I mean, obviously, who I'd like to send is Donald Trump and send him over there and take care of it. But Biden's not going to pick any Republican, especially Trump. You know, he won't even. He won't even restart the pipeline, which everyone wants him to do because they'll say, "Oh, Trump wanted that." Biden needs to send a serious person to oversee a summit between Zelensky and Putin. You know, like Jimmy Carter did with Egypt and Israel. You know what I'm talking about. And the only person I can think of that's got that kind of juice that that Biden would realistically appoint is Obama, President Obama. President Obama is tight with Biden. He knows Putin, and, you know, he's a heavy hitter. He's not going to pick anyone on our wish list. How you can say we have to get involved militarily when there's been no effort to cool things off by the United States other than the sanctions and everything I get, and I'm not opposed to that. I think that's a good thing. But all you're doing is further pissing him off. You're not trying to cool things off. So Tucker Carlson's very much an anti-war guy when it comes to getting involved with troops on the ground from the United States in the Russian-Ukraine war. So The View, on The View today, they had Whoopi was back, Joy Behar, and Anna Navarro, and a couple girl, Sunny, and some girl that I've never seen before, but she's some political person. And they want, I'm not making this up, they believe that Tucker Carlson and Tulsi Gabbard, but that Tucker Carlson, because of his anti-U.S. involvement with troops on the ground in Ukraine, that Tucker Carlson should be arrested. And I want to play this for you, and then we'll talk about it as we go on. I mean, this is where the left have come now. This started with January 6th. They got all these people in jail, having their rights violated by denying them speedy trial and everything else. And they're getting kind of used to the idea, the Democrats, of political prisoners in the United States. Yeah. And they just think if you disagree with them, you should be locked up, is really what it's come down to. So let's get to this. This is The View today.
So
so hard for me to understand. We've all been watching in horror as these people are being killed, mothers in maternity wings. Can you imagine taking the position of like, Putin, not so bad of a guy? It's just bizarre. It's un-American.
How do you suppose he gets away with that? I mean,
it's the most watched man in cable news. It's actually really scary.
I think what they're saying is, what if Tucker Carlson gets away with, in America, Tucker Carlson, what happens if he gets away with exercising his First Amendment right of free speech? I mean, that's what what if he gets away with this free speech?
Bizarre. It's un-American.
How do you suppose he gets away with that? I mean,
it's the most watched man in cable news. It's actually really scary.
I think
who gets away with it? Putin or Tucker Carlson?
If there's a Tucker and Laura Ingraham and Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, listen.
Okay, now the deep voice, that's Anna Navarro. Okay, so just so you know, she's got a deep voice because and Anna Navarro is a fake Republican, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Board of directors should really step in. If they call themselves patriots and they, it's not enough.
Patriots. What's a patriot?
I don't know. I guess that's
they call themselves patriots.
That's the Latino way of saying it.
Or maybe it's just maybe it's a snobby way of saying it, or maybe she's just ignorant and inarticulate.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Tucker and Laura Ingraham and Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, listen, the Fox Board of Directors should really step in. If they call themselves patriots and they, it's not enough to be posting flags about Ukraine. There's a bunch of folks on that Board of Directors list, like my friend Paul Ryan.
But that tells you right there. I'm sure Paul Ryan loves that.
Yeah,
Anna Navarro. My friend Paul Ryan.
Oh, my gosh.
And I know. There's people on that Board of Directors. That First Amendment's getting in the way.
Ukraine. There's a bunch of folks on that Board of Directors list, like my friend Paul Ryan, who I wish would be weighing in and saying we cannot be Russian state TV, at least not every hour.
But what's
okay. Now, this is an interesting...
So what the hell does that make them?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing.
I mean, they can talk about the war and have their opinion, but Tucker can't.
When the last time there was a war debate in the country, like a war debate, was the Iraq War. And that's been a while, 03, 04.
Uh-huh.
And that was George Bush was president then. I promise you, whoever was on The View at that time, I know Joy Behar was there. She's always been there. But the consensus on The View was we should not be involved in the war.
Yeah.
Just like in Vietnam with the liberals. Were they were they puppets for Saddam Hussein on The View?
Well, it's interesting because the person who decides this is their president, and he is not getting involved. So if they're mad at Tucker, why aren't they mad at Biden?
Exactly.
He's the one running the country.
He's the one not doing what
Tucker's
they want.
not running the country. He's just running his own show for an hour a night.
In his mouth. He's running his mouth.
Exactly.
Like
Biden is the one making the decisions, so why aren't they pissed off at him? Why don't they say to him, why don't you get involved? Why don't you do something? You're just sitting there eating your Jell-O every night and watching TV.
Anna Navarro doesn't eat Jell-O.
No.
Oh, you mean Biden?
Biden, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Eating his Jell-O.
Yeah, Jell-O's not high calorie enough for Anna Navarro. All right, back to this. This is The View today.
I guess for me, the question is, what is in it for someone like Tucker Carlson, right?
Okay, this is interesting. So the only reason he's exercising his opinion is for some nefarious why are they there?
Exactly.
They said money? What are they doing this for free? They do The View for free?
I know. It's so ridiculous. I mean, it's just...
They get paid to be on The View.
Exactly.
Why are you... Hey, Sonny Hostin, why are you...
Whoopi Goldberg makes like $80,000 a month.
A month on The View. and she's and Sonny, she's got her View money. She's an attorney. Are all her cases pro bono? Are you into this law for the money? These people.
Question is, what is in it for someone like Tucker Carlson, right?
Money?
Is it money? Who's paying him that money?
Yeah.
I'm not making any allegations, but it doesn't make
These are stupid. I can't believe we're discussing these stupid women.
I'm not making any allegations, but I'm about to make some allegations. But these are not these allegations are not allegations, okay?
Sense that he would do this kind of thing. I mean, he also says that the United States helped encourage the Russian invasion. He said the United States engineered a coup in Ukraine in the name of democracy. He, as we just mentioned, confirmed these Russian claims about bioweapons. And he's characterized...
No.
These are dumb
women. Hold on a second. There's a difference between... This is such an interesting thing. Now, last week on the podcast, I'm not going to play this for you again, but we played it a couple times last week. Mm-hmm. One of the assistant secretaries of state in a Senate hearing last week said that there are biolabs in Ukraine.
I guess she's lying too.
She's a Democrat. So anyone who says biolabs, the left immediately say you're talking about bioweapons.
How would these women on The View even know. They don't know anything. They're so dumb and uninformed. Do you think they sit there and do all kinds of research?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Remember that?
And read all kinds of, they read as much as Sarah Palin, according to Katie Couric.
Remember that commercial they used to run for Rachel Maddow that would show her on the floor of her office with all the papers spread out and all the research she would do before every broadcast?
Yeah, and she lies every night and is wrong about everything.
Exactly.
In this situation as a border dispute. Right? And so what is in it for him? I know that he's visited Moscow and other places, and you can tell.
Oh, my gosh. They're talking about like Tucker Carlson has visited Moscow. Well, so, you know.
My best friend went to Moscow in 1988.
That means he's a red.
She.
No.
Oh, yeah,
I'm talking about Tucker.
Right.
Because Tucker Carlson has visited Moscow. So was Bernie Sanders, by the way.
Exactly. He went there on his honeymoon.
Yeah, exactly. Remember that video of him drunk with the Russians?
Comrades.
With his shirt off? Remember that?
These women are idiots.
Yeah, so anyone who's been to Moscow, you're now a Ruskie. That would be like Billy Joel. Remember he did that tour?
Yeah.
Back at the USSR?
I guess he's one too.
I guess Billy Joel's a Ruskie too.
If I'm wrong about that, but I just don't understand what the impetus is.
I hope he's planning to move to Moscow because he's not going to be welcome here for much longer.
Okay.
Do his viewers like it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think his ratings have dropped at all. And look, but I think that's an incredibly relevant question. Yeah. And I think DOJ, in the same way that it is setting up a task force to investigate oligarchs, should look into people who are Russian propagandists and shilling for Putin. That's being, if you are a foreign asset to a dictator, it should be investigated. In fact, I remember when Tulsi Gabbard, and I even hate that we're discussing it because I think to myself, who is this woman? She's she's no longer in Congress. She's a failed presidential candidate. Yeah. She only practically exists on Twitter. And the fact that we're giving her oxygen is what makes her relevant, that we're talking about her on hot topics. But on the other hand, how do you not call out something that is repeating false Russian propaganda that has been brought down?
They used to arrest people for doing stuff like this.
There's not Nipsey Russell. I know she sounds like him, but that's Whoopi Goldberg. They used to arrest people for doing things like this. Really, when was that? When did in America? What is she talking about?
I don't know.
When were people arrested for having a counter opinion from the media?
Well, she has an alternate history because she also was afraid John McCain was going to put her in chains.
That's true.
And she was also didn't think the Holocaust was about race. She's learned an alternate history, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know what period.
These are just stupid women.
Yeah, I don't know what period in American history Whoopi Goldberg is referencing when people were put in jail for disagreeing with the media's opinion on international conflict.
I don't know either.
I'd like her to share that with us.
The thing is, they don't challenge each other. It's just a big circle jerk.
They feed off of each other.
These women, and they just feed off each other. Nobody challenges and stops, and rarely. And
that's
says,
what we do.
That's not
I'm
accurate.
Stopping them.
They just sit there and go back and forth, and
Yeah.
If they thought you were colluding with a Russian agent, if they thought you were putting out information or taking information.
Oh, she's talking about the McCarthy. So she wants to bring back the McCarthy hearings.
I guess so.
If she wants to have some type of public flogging and hearing in court where Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, anyone who believes U.S. troops should not be involved in military action against Russia in Ukraine, and you were brought before the new McCarthy hearing and jailed, I guess, at the D.C. Gitmo with the January 6 guys.
They can start with Biden.
And, and
he's against it, too.
This is insane.
And handing over to Russia. Yeah. They used to actually investigate stuff like this, and I guess now, there seems to be no bars, and people are not being told to hate Putin. Putin doesn't need a reason to be hated. It's pretty much clear.
He started a war.
He started an unnecessary war
this is kind
that
of
nobody wanted.
Isn't this contributing to the death and destruction of the country and the civilians there?
Well, this is why I say, how can they pat themselves on the back and say, good job, when you know he just blew up
Isn't this contributing to the death? Yeah, war usually contributes to death.
No, they're saying Tucker Carlson.
Oh.
Now,
it's so confusing.
Okay, here's the thing with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has the #1 show in the history of cable news in America.
Right.
Higher ratings than even Larry King had, who had no competition.
Right.
He is not widely watched in Russia or in Ukraine. I think they lost their cable in Ukraine, and they don't really speak English too well in Russia.
Yeah.
So he's not contributing to anything other than sharing what could be considered a liberal opinion of being when the Iraq War. I'll tell you this. Okay, when the buildup happened to the Iraq War, the entire American left were against the Iraq War, and they said, we support the war in Iraq in Afghanistan because we were attacked by Al Qaeda. They were based in Afghanistan, so that was but we should not be involved in wars unless we are attacked. That's what that was what the whole anti-war movement said in 2003 about the war in Iraq. This war, we have not been attacked. An ally has not been attacked. The only thing that's been attacked are the crime bosses that Joe and Hunter Biden do business with.
Yeah.
Well, they've been attacked. The crime boss.
The people of Ukraine.
Well, yeah.
They're getting bombed.
No, I feel very sorry for the people of Ukraine. I really do. And
we're not
awful.
in denial. We're not denying that's happening.
No, but there are humanitarian crises all over the world, and including in China.
Oh, yeah.
And, China, what happened to that tennis player that disappeared that said she was raped by a government official? What happened to her? And what about those Chinese Muslims? I don't say their name because it could sound like a word we're not supposed to say if But, and of course, the slaves that work in the factories over there in China. And
I guess the liberals only care about the Ukrainians because they're white.
It very well may be.
I mean, that's what they always say.
Or they're being victimized by someone who's white and they transfer that.
I don't know, but I was just kidding. But that's now. I'm sure Tucker will talk about this tonight. But
I hope so,
because that's what the View's hoping too. But the smartest thing for him would be to ignore it because that's what they want.
Yeah, they're trolling.
They're trolling him. They want. I'm not saying they don't believe what they're saying because I think they do, but they want him to do a segment on their show. And on them, it's good for their show. It's good for ratings. He's got the highest rated show in cable news, like they said. And for him to discuss it to his 6 million or whatever, 5 million people, they would love that on that show. But the best thing, which I don't think he'll take my advice, the best thing for him to do would be to because who gives a damn what they say, would to be completely ignore the View. But he won't. He always, he'll always bring it up and talk about it. So I'm going to watch Tucker tonight for sure. Just to see if he does, because I'm sure if he does, it'll be interesting.
We'll all be watching.
Entertaining.
Yeah. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
There's a new fashion line for those who want to pursue what they love, no matter what, and show others that nothing is impossible as long as you believe. The Miranda line, available online at mirandaline.com, offer high-quality, comfortable clothing that's both socially and environmentally conscious, which will allow you to feel good about the clothing you're wearing. Whether you're looking for t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, beanies, biodegradable phone cases, they have it all. These clothes and accessories are made on demand to reduce fabric waste. They're eco-friendly. All the materials can be recycled and are compostable. When you visit the store, make sure to sign up for their email list for great deals. Visit mirandaline.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can discover the Miranda Line too. mirandaline.com. Start shopping right now. Are you ready for a good laugh? The book, Rhyming Around, from author D.C. Dempsey, available on Amazon and Lulu, is a collection of 30 rhyming stories that are not for children. Rhyming Around features over 160 pages of sheer rhyming delight, which range in word count from a couple of hundred to over 1,000. Inside, you will find funny, if that's your thing, and some thoughtful rhymes. Either way, it's an assortment of wacky, sometimes weird, but mostly wonderful stories. No offense is meant. P.S. No people, animals, birds, genies, or pitchforks were harmed during the creation of Rhyming Around. If you want a good laugh, this is the book you've been looking for. The rhymes are clever and nostalgic. Order your copy right now. Rhyming Around, from author D.C. Dempsey. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon and Lulu. You know how important it is to have a good credit score. Has bad credit stopped you from living the life you want to live? There is help. If you want to repair your credit once and for all, there are 2 websites you need to write down right now. The first, smartcredit.com/PID =56179. Smartcredit.com/PID =56179. There you will find a link to pull up 3 bureau reports for just $4.99. $1.99. This is a 7-day trial rate. It also gives you the opportunity to check for identity theft, offers a score tracker, a score builder, and score boost. Plus, it comes with a $1 million insurance policy. The second link you need to know is pecuniarycoach.com. That's PECUNIARY coach.com. The pecuniarycoach.com brings your finances to life and will help improve your financial fingerprint. You'll find credit services, consultations, strategies, and money tips. It's time to control your future and your credit score to start living the life that you and your family deserve. Visit smartcredit.com/PID=56179 and pecuniarycoach.com. That's PECUNIARY coach.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Now, this is interesting. This is Morning Joe with Mika on MSNBC. And, of course, MSNBC, and Morning Joe, obviously they're leftist, are continuing to push, which is very unheard of from the left, this war footing with the United States. This is Joe Scarborough today.
There's a Biden administration, forgive me, this is going to sound condescending, but it's too early for me to figure.
Oh, see, he doesn't. Let's not offend Biden. Okay, I don't want. I apologize. I don't want to offend, His Majesty Joe Biden. I know this will sound condescending.
There's a Biden administration. Forgive me. This is going to sound condescending, but it's too early for me to figure out any other way to say it. Does the Biden administration understand that when Americans and Europeans see 5-year-old children choked to death by Putin's chemical weapons that we're going to have to go in? Do they understand that there is no holding back, that we're going to have to take a far more aggressive approach?
Okay, I'm really thinking back pretty hard. Okay. I cannot think of a time when the American left were so eager to go to war.
Yeah, it's strange.
Ever. And
why do you think that is?
I'm not sure, honestly. I'm really not sure. Like even after 9/11, a lot of people will forget this, but I don't forget. And 9/11 was, 21 years ago, so a lot of people you were around then don't remember this. Or maybe you were too young to follow it at the time, and certainly the guilty parties don't ever reflect on this, so it'll be forgotten. There was the Democrats on September 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and then they stopped this. Wasn't the next day. It kind of started the next day, but really was like the 13th after 9/11. Like on September 12th, a little bit, but starting the 13th, for a few days, Democrats were asking the question, well, what did we do to attack them? In fact, Bill Clinton and Mario Cuomo, right? Governor Cuomo's father, who was the governor, right? Mario Cuomo and Bill Clinton. There were others, but those were two prominent people I remember clearly, said that poverty in the Middle East caused by the United States drove these hijackers to do this. And we've got to talk about what we've done that drove them to do this to us. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the backlash was so immense, they dropped it.
Yeah, because that's stupid.
Chelsea Clinton wrote a column for, I want to say, Vanity Fair.
Why do they think that the only evil country in this world is America?
I mean, don't they understand? Well, in Russia, American Russia.
Well, don't they understand that America, we're the good guys? Okay,
no, they don't understand.
But these liberals, they just think that everybody else is good and we're horrible.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the America hate. The America hate crowd.
Yeah, that's exactly Hate America First crowd. Yeah, when I was younger, that Hate America First.
Bizarre.
So there was an anti-war sentiment in this country by an anti-American sentiment opposed to going to war, because immediately people were saying we're going to go in Afghanistan. Immediately people were saying that on 9/11, and immediately leading Democrats, Mario Cuomo, who was a big deal at the time, and Bill Clinton, who was just out of office less than a year, were saying no war. What did we do? And Chelsea Clinton wrote a column. Chelsea Clinton was in New York City on 9/11. She wrote a column. I think it was for Vanity Fair. It's been a long time.
Was she 18 at the time?
She was very young. And it was the first time we got to hear Chelsea speak.
Who cares?
And they used to talk about, when Chelsea grows up, she's got the DNA of Hillary and Bill. She's going to be the most brilliant person. And
Hillary's a moron.
And from the first time she spoke in this column talking about her experience on 9/11, we saw what she's like. She's worse than her mother. She's got the mental midget.
She has her mom's DNA.
She wrote about, this was Chelsea Clinton. She wrote about how she saw the people running from the building that were covered in the dust. And she was thinking about how the Bush tax cuts had affected them negatively before this attack. I couldn't believe it.
Wait, how the Bush hijackers?
No. How the Bush tax cuts had negatively impacted the people of New York City who were running away from Ground Zero covered in dust.
I'm sure that was the last thing on their mind.
And I thought, my goodness,
I don't get the connection.
No, that tells you. But there was a very liberal anti-war sentiment even after 9/11.
And during Vietnam.
In Vietnam, of course, and it was the Democrats that were opposed to U.S. intervention in Europe in the Second World War.
So all of a sudden, tell us what you think in the comments. Why are the Democrats all of a sudden so gung-ho
to go to war somewhere?
On going in and
never seen it
maybe
before.
Maybe it's because they're white people. Because they are racist.
The Democrats, they want to go and I don't know.
I know it sounds nuts, but we know they're bigots. And maybe because it's white people getting killed, they don't realize it, but I'm serious. They feel we have to save these people because every other war involved people of another color.
Well,
maybe because it's white people. I know that sounds nuts, but I'm telling you, they're so racist they don't realize it, that they have an inclination to save them.
Well,
does that sound totally nuts?
I feel very sorry.
I can't think of any other reason.
I feel very sorry for people in Ukraine, and I'm not opposed to helping them. I just don't want us involved in another war after we just got out of a 20-year war, the war on terror. There are ways we can help without having American troops on the ground.
I view this, and I've always viewed this as a civil war. And it's like Putin views them as leaving the country, and he's trying to bring them back. Whether that's good or bad, that's up to you to decide, okay? I don't like attacking a peaceful country. I think it's wrong. I don't agree with what he's doing or the way he's going about it. And to me, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the people always suffer when there's a war. But of course, the leaders are all corrupt. All I know is this. Maybe Ukraine, maybe the leader, Zelensky, has known all along they were never going to win. But he went in and said, let's go fight, because he knew there'd be a cash cow for this guy. He's getting millions and millions, billions of dollars from us, from Europe, from other countries. Maybe he knew all along we're never going to win, but let's prolong this and let's get the people out. Now they got 14-year-old boys they're putting out there, and let's fight this, because the more we fight, the more aid we're going to get from America and other countries. I mean, I know he doesn't want to look like a coward, I guess. But I think all along this is a losing battle. I've always felt that way. I'm not saying she give up, but people are dying here. I mean, is it really worth having this war? Maybe if you're making millions of dollars off of it. I don't know if that's what's happening, but I know they're getting a lot of money from us and other people. So I think there's corruption all around, and the people are the ones who suffer. The people don't want this war in the Ukraine or in Russia. They're against this war.
Yeah.
They don't want this to happen, most of them. They want to just live a nice, peaceful life, and they probably don't understand why the hell is this happening. But it is. So,
Yeah. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you would like to support the program, becoming a Patreon supporter is a great way to do that. And there are great perks to becoming a Patreon supporter, including commercial-free editions of every podcast episode exclusive to Patreon supporters. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. The names you are about to hear are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, Dee, Pamela, Jacqueline, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode to our Patreon page, as well as a link to our Patreon page on my website, briancraigshow.com.
Okay, so we do polls on your YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube. So make sure you go over there and subscribe. And I try to put up a few a week. So the most recent poll I put up today was, who do you think will be Trump's running mate in 2024? And not who do you wish it would be, but who do you think it will be? And here are the choices: Ron DeSantis, Mike Pompeo, Rick Scott, Kristi Noem, or none of the above. 48% say DeSantis. That's a pretty big number. Yeah. And then the next highest number is none of the above. So they don't like any of my choices. I couldn't think of anybody else that might be a possible. Obviously, it's not Mike Pence. So we've had 450 votes. But DeSantis is the top. They still think that's. Hey, I would love it. And I just read an article. NBC put a little snippet. I read an article by NBC News. I can't find the article, but I read it this morning. And NBC is putting out there that Ron DeSantis plans on running in 2024, which is fake news.
He debunked that.
Fake news.
He debunked that like a week ago already again.
Yeah, so
he's not
that's not happening.
Trump.
But VP, I've always said I don't see it happening. I just don't see him as a second fiddle. He's a leader. But you never know. That would be the dream team. I mean, if he picked DeSantis, I think they'd be unstoppable.
Absolutely.
That would be the dream that we're all hoping for. My next choice, I like Kristi Noem a lot. Rick Scott, he doesn't have much of a personality. I just kind of chose him because I'm in Florida and he's a senator now. He's been governor. He was a good governor. He likes Trump. He's a Trump guy. I really couldn't think of anybody else. Some people say Tim Scott. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. Who do you think other than DeSantis? Realistically. Kristi Noem, I think, is a good.
I don't know much about. I mean, I know I like what I've seen of her and everything, but I really don't know much about her to say, okay, she should be it.
Well, she put Trump on Mount Rushmore, so I'm sure.
Well, she wanted to. She said they should.
But she's
not
a
on
good
Mount Rushmore.
I know.
We got to clarify how some of the haters are.
I mean, she wanted. She was sent him
Sounds
a little.
Good to me.
She sent him a statue, which somebody sent us of Trump on Mount Rushmore, which is really cool. But I think she is in his top. Who do you think's in his top three? You have DeSantis, and then who else? I would say Kristi Noem, and then who would be a third? And don't say Carrie Lake. She hasn't even been elected.
We don't know
yet.
enough about her yet. She hasn't been governor yet.
Who's somebody in office
other than DeSantis
and Kristi Noem? Who would be? It's tough because I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
That's a tough one.
Mike Pence came out of nowhere. No, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah,
I think he needs to choose somebody more well known and somebody that the swamp. I think Trump's biggest mistake, and I'm sure he would admit this if he had to, was trusting too many people in Washington.
Yeah.
And I think that he allowed too many people in Washington to sway him and make decisions for him and make suggestions for him. And I think Mike Pence was a suggestion. I don't think Trump knew who Mike Pence was. I mean, nobody did. He was suggested to him. And I think he allowed the swamp to suggest things. And I think he would go back into the White House much wiser, less naive, and less trusting.
Yeah.
And instead of taking suggestions, he would make his own suggestions. He would
That'd be
say,
fine
well,
with me.
This is who I like. So tell us who you think. I know we have the poll. But if you can think of another person that's not in my poll,
I cannot think of someone other
down.
than DeSantis. I can't think of anyone other than DeSantis off the top of my head. That's
or
realistic.
Kristi Noem, one of those two.
I just don't know enough about Kristi Noem.
No, but if you had to choose a third, it's hard to pick. I can't think of anybody.
Yeah.
But I think you're right when you said this morning. Hillary said in an interview recently she is not running. She said that. If she was going to run, she would say, I don't know. I think she's afraid of going up against Trump.
Yeah.
Especially with this Durham stuff. I think she's really afraid of opening that can of worms, and I don't think she has the heart to go through it again. But I think you're right about Cuomo, and I've said that all along. They did not charge him with anything. They cleared all that, and I think he is definitely going to run. His massive ego, and I tell you, I think the Democrats would give him the nomination. That's how desperate and stupid they are.
Hillary Clinton told Mika Brzezinski a few days ago she is not going to run. And I think you're right, Kathy. I think Hillary looked very odd when she said that. I think that Durham report terrified her.
I don't think she has the guts to do it. I don't think. I think she just is realized it's not going to happen.
She's afraid.
She's come to terms with it, and I think she's just realized. I don't think she. I think if it was anybody but Trump, she would do it. But I don't think she wants to go up against him because she's already been down that road.
That's a good decision.
He's been president. She hasn't. He has a lot more accomplishments than her. And I just don't think she has the heart or the guts to go through that again.
Well, listen, we're going to
be much tougher for her.
We're going to take our last break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Every year, more than 50,000 deserving entrepreneurs and executives attempt to sell a company they've worked tirelessly to build. Yet more than 70% of them fail. Why? Because most deals are derailed by hidden dangers that leave both buyers and sellers blindsided. The book, Broken Handoff, Saving Your Assets, available on Amazon, will tell you what you need to do and what not to do in an M&A. It's a breathtaking book with rare and remarkable transparent insights into owning, buying, and selling a business. Broken Handoff exposes the unexpected pitfalls and reveals hands-on solutions for the mergers and acquisitions process, and delivers tools to beat the odds and broker the deal you want. This is a definitive guide to business ownership transactions and required reading for founders, CEOs, venture capitalists, mentors, and moguls. Broken Handoff, Saving Your Assets, available on Amazon and Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. Order your copy right now. There's a series of books that will take you on a fantastic journey into another world. The Prince Zaki series of books, available online at PrinceZakiBook.com and Amazon. The first book, Prince Zaki and the Royal Sword of Luella. Prince Zaki is heir to the throne, and his father has decided that on his 20th birthday, he will succeed him and become King of Luella. The prince embarks on an expedition across his great kingdom before the ascension to the throne. Prince Zaki is taken to a mysterious island where there's a special school for uniquely gifted children, and he begins to learn and unravel the hidden secrets of souls and life. The story continues in the second book, Prince Zaki and the Momentous Battle of the Kingdom. Here, the Battle of the Kingdoms takes place in the Royal Amphitheater, and the winner is awarded the newly discovered island. Prince Yalam aids Prince Zaki in the preparations of the Battle of the Kingdoms. An unexpected visitor from Prince Zaki's past returns to cause mayhem in the lead up to and during the momentous battle. Join the exciting adventure right now and order your copy of the Prince Zaki book series online at PrinceZakiBook.com and on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. A mystical unseen city, an urgent royal request, and a dangerous mission that will push David into a brave new world beyond his imagination. The book, The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr, is a #1 new release on Amazon, featuring action-packed pages, fast-moving plots, and a secret world of high-flying fun. Still wiping off dragon drool from their last adventure, David wonders what's next and whether he's really cut out to be a true dragon flyer. When the evil Night Riders show up, determined to hunt the flyers and their dragons down, he realizes the real adventure has just begun. Does he have what it takes to be a hero? Find out when you read The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr. This is an imaginative and exciting book with a relatable hero. Kids will love the vivid imagery, the brilliant word building, and the non-stop action. Parents will love the lessons of courage, teamwork, and true friendship. This book is perfect for young readers. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Available in Kindle and paperback. The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We just found out Fox News has a reporter, Benjamin Hall, who you've seen him reporting from Ukraine. He has an English accent, and he has been injured.
Oh,
and he,
I know who that is.
He's injured and hospitalized in Ukraine. And
he's the young guy with the dark hair.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Fox didn't have, as of now, when you're listening later, there might be more details. They didn't have any specific details other than he's been injured and hospitalized in Ukraine. And there was that other journalist who was killed over the weekend. That's why Steve Harrigan got out of there and came back. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's worth being there. You got to think of your wife and your kids, and you have to ask yourself, is it really worth my life and leave my children without a father? I mean, you want to do your job, but, Steve Harrigan had that horrible experience where he was kidnapped, and so he probably has a lot of PTSD, in these situations. So I
Steve Harrigan, I think he got confused with.
No, I thought he was the one that got kidnapped by the Taliban.
No. That was Steve Santani.
Oh, okay, a different Steve. All right, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Harrigan's good, but...
Or they called him Steve Al-Santani after he got out of the Taliban captivity.
But, I wonder if these reporters, they want to do their job, but what are their wives thinking? Like, if you were over there and reporters were getting killed or hurt, I'd be very concerned. I'd be like, maybe you should come home and I don't know.
It's very dangerous.
Is it worth it in leaving your children without a father? I don't know.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, now, before I get to that, in Iraq, I met one of the Fox reporters. I can't remember his name. He's not with Fox anymore. But I was at the mall with our daughter when she was little, and he was a Fox reporter, and I ran into him with his wife and kids at the mall at this children's play center. It was called Wanadu City.
Oh, yeah, Wanadu City.
And this guy, he hasn't been at Fox in many years, but he had just gotten back from Iraq, and I was talking to him while his kids were playing, our daughter was playing, about it being safe over there. He's like, oh, no, in Iraq, he says, perfectly safe, He says they got you surrounded with guards and everything else. And they had the green zone. But over here in Ukraine, the whole country is a war zone. There's no safety. And I'll tell you, the Fox, we were talking about at the top of the show, Fox has had two of their main reporters and anchors say that it's lost, right? Steve Harrigan and Bartiromo. And I think that Fox News is continuing to tell you that there's a fight here, and they're not really going to spend a lot of time with these two people saying it's over because they want you to keep watching. If the game's over, people are going to stop watching. They want to prolong this for television. I'm telling you.
It seems like everybody wants to prolong this for whatever reason, which is really a damn shame. Zelensky has his reasons. Yeah. Putin has his reasons. The media have their reasons. They want to prolong it for, basically for money, really.
That's right. Now, I got a text message from Newsmax earlier, and some of you others may have gotten it. This is a text message list I'm on with Newsmax because I have their app, and I signed up for it where they send me alerts. Frontier Cable is threatening to drop Newsmax, another cable system.
Oh, my goodness.
And they have a number to call, which I'm not gonna give out the number because I haven't called it to, I trust Newsmax, but I don't like to give out numbers to protest. But Newsmax sent this out.
I'm sure people can find it easily.
Yeah, Newsmax, Frontier Cable could drop Newsmax, call them to keep Newsmax.
Oh, boy.
Newsmax is the number 4 highest rated cable news network, beating out Fox Business, beating out CNBC, and they're right behind MSNBC. And it's obvious that they're being cut by different cable systems because they're not controlled corporate media. And I know some of you out there are turning on Newsmax, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't. One American News is on live support. They're going to be dropped next month by DirecTV.
Don't turn on Newsmax.
Don't turn on Newsmax. People are turning on Newsmax. Don't turn on Newsmax.
Don't turn it on?
No, turn against them, Mike.
Oh, it's confusing what you were saying.
I guess I can see that now. I didn't quite see,
You don't want people to turn it on,
I want people to turn them on.
Okay, I'm a little confused what you meant. Sorry.
Don't turn against
there
Newsmax.
You go.
Do not
You're like, don't turn on
Newsmax.
Don't turn against. Exactly.
Listen.
I wouldn't be surprised if Fox News is behind this, to be honest
These cable things? Yeah.
Yes.
One American News is about to go bye-bye, at least in its current form, because 80% of their revenue comes from and viewership come from DirecTV. They may be able to survive with their app in a limited capacity, One American News, maybe. But
are they on YouTube?
No. And Fox News is lost to us long ago. I know there's some people on Fox News that we like from time to time, like I'm talking today about some people from Fox. But Newsmax is pretty good, and I like what they do. No one is going to be perfect. There is not going to be a single news outlet that you're going to approve of 100% of the time. So don't turn against Newsmax. Okay,
no, but I'm telling you, I think Fox News is behind a lot of this happening. Don't assume it's the liberal media. I don't think I could see Fox behind this more than anybody. They got Eric Bolling over there. And I think that pissed them off. And Greg Kelly's doing very well. And I'm not saying they're threatened by Newsmax.
Oh, they are.
I don't
They've
think
made
at this
changes
point,
because of news. But they got rid of Chris Wallace over it.
That's true. So, but I think they're behind a lot of this. Fox News because they have had to change their lineup and everything because of it.
They demoted Martha McCallum because Greg Kelly beat her.
Well, if you use Frontier Cable, then definitely contact them and let them know that you are not happy with that decision because they will. They'll just cut them loose. That's what they do,
Yesterday, I know some of you saw this because I put it on YouTube. Yesterday I made a YouTube video for my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube, which you guys should all follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I live stream 7 days a week on my YouTube channel.
The guy never stops.
And take calls live and even, Monday through Monday, even on the weekends. And I upload our podcast on my YouTube channel, and I also vlog on occasion. And I made a
and you don't do like a little 15-minute Tim Pool style video. You do like hours and hours of content with live calls. Nobody does that.
Yeah, I take live calls.
This is not a little snippet here.
No,
he does live streams every day, taking live calls where you get to talk, and that's not easy to do and have fresh content.
No.
And commentary and handling callers. It's a lot.
Our daughter set me up with a studio at home that I stream with on the weekend, which is very good, very interactive. I take live calls on the weekend at home, and I've been live streaming on the weekends with the new studio setup Saturday and Sunday. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks now, a month, 3 weeks or a month. And sometimes I start at 6 a.m., sometimes I start at 7-ish or 6:30. But on Saturday and Sundays, just so you guys know, on Saturday and Sundays, I have the alarm set up to get up at 3:30 in the morning. I get up at 3:30 in the morning on both Saturday and Sunday. I get up and shower, and I do a couple of hours of show prep on the latest news and information and put things together for the live streams.
True.
Okay. So I do put a lot of work into that. So, and they've been very popular, and thank you everyone who's been following me in the live streams. And it's a little different than what I do during the week. And it's a little more intimate contact with you guys that watch on YouTube and everything. Not Governor Cuomo intimacy or sniffing hair like Biden, but it's a little more interactive with the YouTube audience.
Right, a little more laid back.
But it's very informative, and if you go and look at my weekend live streams from the past couple of weeks, you'll see what I'm talking about. But then Sunday afternoon, I made a vlog, which is on my YouTube channel with my scooter, my MAGA scooter. I have a 150cc motor scooter.
It's red.
And what I did is and the reason it's red is not just because, Republican red, but I wanted bright red so that people can see me on the road from very far away on my scooter, okay?
Well, I did. That's why I got it for you.
Yeah.
I'm the one who bought it, remember?
So, I've wanted one for a long time, though. I wanted one for a long time. You did ask me if I wanted the white one.
It was a surprise. Brian did not pick it out.
You did ask me if I'd rather have the white, and I said the white's kind of like for girl. That's like a girl
I like
color.
the white one, but
that's like a girl color.
I was going to, Then I thought, red. I remember you said you wanted red.
So I made a vlog, which you guys should see, and what I did is I took my MAGA scooter, and I rode all up, and I went to the beach down the street from our house, and I rode around the beach all day, made a very good video visiting the local gas station, showing you the price. And then at the end of my travels, after driving around for the whole day, I stopped at the gas station and filled up my scooter. And wait until you see how much it cost me to drive for an entire day all over the place on my scooter. It'll blow your mind. And it's a very good vlog, and it's titled let me get the exact title of the video, because when you guys watch it, because and it took me all day to do this. I mean, I had to drive all around and everything else, so it took hours and hours to do this.
You did get to go to the beach.
That's right. I went to several beaches because I drove. So. I went to the beach, and I'll show you some cool stuff at the beach here, and then I drove down the beach road and went by many beaches.
Yeah.
It's titled "Searching for Cheap Gas in Biden's America." And then the thumbnail has a picture of me and my MAGA hat with the scooter, and it says, "MAGA scooter search for cheap gas." And we were talking on Friday about the Biden stickers. I did that. The first gas station I went to, I couldn't show this because you can't show this profanity on YouTube. The first gas station I went to, on the gas pumps in permanent marker was written all over the gas pumps, "F Joe Biden."
Why didn't it say "Let's go, Brandon"?
Yeah,
That's
really.
So
no, they were so mad at the gas prices. They went off. They're not using coded language.
That's right. They went for the real deal here.
And I mean, they wrote it several times all over the pump
in a liberal county.
Oh yeah, in permanent marker that you just can't get. And I did not notice this until I watched the video myself. But in the final gas station I'm at when I fill up my scooter. And I show the price, how much it cost me to drive around all day long. I didn't notice, but there was a couple of pieces on the pump of one of those Biden stickers pointed at the gas pump. I did that, and you could tell like the gas station had done everything. They peeled as much off of it as they could, but they couldn't get the whole thing off, and you can still see the sticker.
Why don't they just leave the stickers there?
Yeah, and one thing I noticed—
I don't get
it. They say that it's illegal, that there's like a state law against it, and this Democrat, the one that's running against Ron DeSantis for governor, Nikki Fried,
she's an idiot.
She's the one in charge of the gas pump. She's the Secretary of Agriculture, so she, this is like a high crime, to the Democrats.
True.
But I went to these gas stations and people are pissed.
It is the great equalizer.
People are pissed.
Like you said, it's the one thing that's definitely unifies people is this hatred of the high gas.
Oh, they hate it.
And in Florida, it's probably some of the cheapest in the country. We're still below $5 here in Florida. I mean, barely. It's like $4.75.
It's over $5, depending on what gas you get. It's over $5.
Well, this is for regular, which was what we get. If you get the Supreme and diesel, obviously. And Gary, who's a truck driver, you told me today that he's up in Wisconsin in the Midwest. It cost him $1,000 to fill his semi.
Just under $1,000.
And it used to be under $500 just 2 years ago.
When Trump was president.
That is insane. He's still got to drive the same amount of distance.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. That's crazy.
It is crazy. So go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube, and check out all my videos and my weekend streams. But also go and look at my MAGA scooter video when I'm driving around. I think you guys will enjoy it.
See how beautiful Florida is.
It's like paradise.
Yeah, if you ever think about moving to Florida, that video, because you do go to one of the nicer beaches, Deerfield Beach, which is not far from our house, and it's absolutely beautiful there.
So the gas prices, Brian Stelter on CNN did a segment on gas prices, and this is Brian Stelter and a guest talking about why Fox News, why conservatives, why Republicans are obsessing over gas prices. Listen.
Eric, are you feeling it in Florida as well? How do you read the coverage of high gas prices? Because it is obviously a real issue.
I was going to say, you should come to Florida. I only paid $60 to fill up my tank.
Well, he must have a small car. He must have like a Yugo left over from the 80s.
Well, what a bargain.
And $60, it used to cost like $32.
Exactly.
And now it's $60.
Talking about? It's a double.
It went from $30 to $60, and we're supposed to be happy.
Doubled in 2 years.
Exactly.
Which is nuts.
Exactly. So let's just go back.
I was going to say, you should come to Florida. I only paid $60 to fill up my tank.
By the way, please stop inviting Brian Stelter to come to Florida. Florida does not want Brian Stelter here.
We don't want him here.
This is Ron DeSantis' free Florida. Yeah. He's not popular here.
What I will say is what's interesting to me about this is that this isn't new for Fox. They were trying to make this connection back in November and even earlier. And right now, what it feels like is an attempt to sort of forestall the natural tendency that Americans have to rally around the president when he's in the middle of an international crisis, especially something like the Ukraine war, where there seems to be a lot of agreement with how he's handling it. And so these rising gas prices are a good way to sort of push back against the good feelings that Biden is engendering without actually taking aim at the Ukraine war or anything that could be sort of perceived as harming that effort.
Oh, boy, that's Brian Stelter's guess.
Yes, good feelings all around. Were you just talking about the Let's Go Brandon and the stickers that are on every gas pump in America? That's all good feelings. Nobody likes Biden. The whole country hates him. They're pissed off on both sides because of the gas. He can blame Putin all he wants, Putin price hike nonsense. Yeah. Everybody knows it's his damn fault. The supply chain is his fault. I mean, people think, and there's a lot of Democrats who would never admit this publicly, but they miss Trump. I can tell you right now, they miss Trump. They miss the low gas. They miss going to the shelves and seeing stuff there. We went to get dog food last night for our dog, and we went to Petco because she's having allergic reactions. And I never go to like Petco for dog food. I usually get it at Amazon or Publix. And I'm like, let's go get her some organic stuff or whatever. and there was hardly anything on the shelves. I was really in shock. I was like, wow. I mean, it was really, so they're still having issues. There is no love fest for Biden. I don't care what this guy says. They say something, it's gaslighting. They say something to make you believe it when it's really not true.
Yeah.
Nobody loves this guy. I don't know what planet he's on.
Oh, no, he's engendering good feelings. This is what the guy said.
Not engendering.
Where?
He's not engendering anything.
No, he's not. Well, listen, we are all out of time, but we will be back next time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name's Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.
Do you want to live an amazing life? A life filled with magic and abundance? Do you know about manifesting? From author Heather Lakeisha comes the book Manifest Like Magic, available on Amazon. With conscious manifesting, you can improve your health and relationships, make more money, improve your quality of life, even change your physical appearance. With this must-read book, start choosing on purpose. You can have whatever you want with no limitations. Manifest Like Magic will help you direct your focus and recognize your power so you can manifest whatever you want into your life. The workbook includes 4 weeks of daily exercises, self-awareness journal prompts, affirmations, scientific explanations, examples and tips and tricks for manifesting. Manifest Like Magic from author Heather Lakeisha. Order your copy right now on Amazon.